Alright, here are a few things that you need to play Haggis. You're going to need a tape measure or other measuring device marked in inches, standard polyhedral dice from D4 to D20, also some fudge dice. You're going to need a copy of the deviation template, character sheet, scorecard, copy of the rule book, or printouts of the cheat sheets in the back of the book, and your miniatures and wargame terrain, including a putting green, teeing ground, and golf ball markers. Okay, let's next set up the board. Put your tee box on the table and put on various wargame terrain such as trees and sand traps, your putting green. Now that all looks real nice. You know what's missing? Monsters. So let's drop in a giant scorpion right there in the sand trap and put some mushroom men out here on the greens. Yeah, that looks real nice. Okay, now that we're set up, we're ready to get started. Okay, let's take our first shot. First, take your golf ball marker and put it on the tee box wherever you like, and put your character model next to it. Take the deviation template, place it over the ball, and point the arrow marked with a 0 in the direction you want the ball to go. Now, by consulting my character sheet, I choose a club that I want to use for this stroke. In this case, I want to use the brassy. I pull out some dice here. I'm going to pull out some fudge dice. In this case, my character will roll 4 fudge dice, also known as deviation dice in this game. That is determined by the character sheet. My golf hero here is a total noob, so he's going to use 4 deviation dice. More deviation dice might be used if there are penalties for hitting from the rough or using a bent club or something of that sort. Also, we'll be rolling on this shot, we'll be rolling a strength die to see how far the ball goes. Alright. So, I will now announce to my opponent what I'm doing here. In this case, I'm going to be hitting the ball with my brassy at full strength. I then roll the dice. Alright, let's see what the result is here. Alright, the fudge dice have come up with 2 minuses, a plus, and a blank. So the plus and minus cancel out. The blank is a nothing, so -1. So we will use the -1 arrow to determine where the ball goes. And looking at the character sheet, my brassy, the distance is 25 inches plus strength. So in this case, the strength die came up with a 6, so it will go 31 inches. It will go 31 inches in the -1 arrow direction. So if I line that up here with my tape measure, we'll see that it goes way over here, right on top of that giant scorpion. Oh my. So I will now take my ball and put it up against our scorpion. Alright, because our golf ball hit that giant scorpion, we need to see if it takes any damage. consulting the rulebook, this particular monster has 8 hit points. So I'm going to put some markers out here for its hit points. Now, we take a strength die for the character that hit the golf ball, and 2 fudge dice. Make a roll and consult the combat chart. In this case, we're going to do 5 points of damage. So I'm going to remove 5 hit points. So this monster is now pretty badly beat up. Every monster has a zone of control around it, that if a character enters that particular area, a fight will break out. In this case, the characters will have to choose whether they want to enter that zone and fight the monster to get to the golf ball, or consider it lost and enter a new ball in play and take a penalty stroke. Since my particular character is a fighter, we're going to go in there and get some. So I'm going to take my character and my caddy, and I'm going to put them both within the monster's zone of control. By putting both characters in there, both are going to fight, but my main character here will only get half experience for that monster because his caddy's in there as well. Now, in combat, the heroes always fight first unless they're surprised or the character, the monster profile says otherwise. So, in this case, we're going to fight. So, the hero's up first. My hero, Core Strongarm, is a human fighter. So, I take his skill dice, in this case 4, his strength die, a d6, and taking a look at my character sheet, obviously I want to use a war club to fight this particular monster, so I'm going to select a spiky club to hit the giant scorpion. Alright, let's take a roll here. Alright, taking a look at our character sheet, the spiky club does strength plus 1 damage. And consulting the combat table, I have a net result of 0 on the fudge dice. So on the combat table, that is a solid hit, full damage. So I do 2 points of damage. So I'll remove 2 more hit points from the monster. Now let's move on to my caddy. Caddies can also help out in fights. So my caddy, Argyle McGillicuddy, the dwarven caddy, is also going to take a spiky club. His skill is 4, and he also has a d6 for strength. Alright, let's see what we got here. These cancel out. He's got a +2 on the fudge dice. Looking at the combat table, a +2 is a miss, no damage. Now then, it's the monster's turn. Looking at the monster's profile, it has a skill of 3, so we'll use three fudge dice, and has a strength of 8, so a d8. Monsters attack characters randomly. So I will now randomly determine which character he is attacking. I will say 1 to 3 on the caddy and 4 to 6 on my fighter. 2. So he will attack the caddy. Alright, and we'll roll the dice for the monster. A -1, 3. So we take a look at the combat chart. A -1 will be a glancing hit, half damage, round up. So he will take 2 points of damage. I will mark 2 points of damage against my caddy on the character sheet. Alright. That brings us to the end of the first round of combat. At this point, the characters can decide to stay or leave. If they leave, the ball is lost, and they'll have to take a penalty stroke and put another ball into play. But since we're so close to beating this monster, we're going to stay. So we start all over again, and we'll have the Core Strong Arm make an attack with his spiky club on the Scorpion. He's got a solid hit. He does more than 1 point of damage, so the Scorpion is defeated and is removed. This particular Scorpion is worth 1.5 experience points, which I'll only earn half of because I had my caddy with me. And that brings us to the end of combat.